Okay. Hi, my name is Kathy, and I'm the Transitions Coordinator with Caldwell Hospice and Palliative Care. I'm here with Mr. Carroll Winkler. Today is Friday, April 18th, and we are doing the Legacy Project. And here to talk about Mr. Winkler's life. So, we're here again, aren't we?
Yeah.
I know we were talking about you growing up on a farm, or growing up in the city and then moving to the farm.
Yeah, that's right.
And we were talking about you sawing wood and that man who gave you so much wisdom, I guess.
Yes, taught me.
And taught you how to saw. With what kind of
Crosscut saw.
crosscut saw?
That's what hand,
So like you stood on one side and he was on the other.
That's right. That's right.
I'm saying that because I probably wouldn't know, but I already talked to you about this.
Oh yeah, and other people wouldn't realize.
No, because when you were growing up, it's so much different.
Oh yeah, it's a word this day and night.
Yes.
When I was growing up and somebody growing up today.
Well, there wasn't any electric.
No.
Was there no heat?
No.
Wood? Heat?
No, wood.
And you did.
Coal and nowhere. We burnt coal in nowhere.
Did you have a refrigerator?
Ice box, they call them then.
Okay.
And the iceman came, and finally, when we first over there, let me tell you, my older brother worked in the shop at Harper's Furnishing, and my daddy had him saw some wheels out in there. They called them dog carts, and 2 wheels with a tongue on it.
Oh, okay, yes.
And me and my younger brother would go to the ice plant and get a chunk of ice, and they'd put it in that little cart for him, and me and him would pull it up. The ice plant was, I guess maybe from here to the highway over there, and from where we lived, up Maple Street, that's above Broadway Street, and the ice plant is, ice and fuel.
Okay.
It's ice and fuel now, and it was ice plant then.
Isn't that interesting?
And they put that ice with those tongs, they lifted it up and put it in there. And my mother would give us the money to pay for it. I don't remember how much it was. Just about a quarter, maybe 15 cents or something.
For a big block of ice?
Big block of ice, about that square.
Now, did you keep everything cold?
Oh yeah, it wasn't real cold, but it was keep it from souring. It'd hold food a few days, leftovers.
Yeah.
And so.
How much did you make your own bread? Did your mom make your own bread?
Oh yeah, basically we didn't know what light bread was.
Now, were you a good cook? Did you have to learn how to cook?
No. I didn't stay in the house. I'm in jail when I'm in the house.
Oh.
And I never did cook much. Fry egg, boil water for coffee and stuff like that. That's about all I do.
Well, that was good enough, huh?
Old tin cans and heat it up, or I got a microwave now. I don't.
Yeah, that's handy, isn't it? Well, will you tell me again about that man who with the saw? What he told you? What you always remembered?
Well, he dipped snuff, and he didn't have no front teeth there, and he'd hold his mouth. I have to tell this.
Okay.
He has to hold his mouth, keep snuff from flying in your face.
Oh my gosh.
And he said, Carroll, I'm going to teach you to sew. I just can't sew. Uncle George, he called my dad Uncle George, and Verge, that's my younger brother. And he said, I just can't sew them. I'm going to teach you to sew. And so he told me how, and I listened to him, but I knew he knew how to do it. And he got sewing a little bit like that. He said, that saw's not sewing very good. It's got a long tooth. He sawed a little bit and he turned the saw upside down, put the back of it in there, and he put a file across there and found that high tooth and filed it down where even with the other. And he got throwing out strings about that long. So, and he told me not to bear down on it. Said, just pull. Said when one's right, said, it'll go down, it'll pull itself down. When one's right. And so we went to work, and my dad was surprised that me and him were sewing so much wood that day.
But you learned it.
And then after that, well, he wouldn't sew none of the rest of them. He said he wouldn't come soft unless I'd sew it.
Oh, how funny. Well, you got to be pretty proud of yourself.
Oh, well, I just listen to experience.
Yeah, and that's it. Was he the same guy who warmed his feet in the water?
No, this is a different person. This man run a mill. They called them grist mills back then, but they'd grind, meal for cornbread, and they would make grits. My mother would, a lot of times, would send a little bag, to make grits, and they didn't like to change their rocks, for this so much little,
Oh, yeah.
They'd ground about it, but they'd do it. And we had homemade grits.
Did ya? I bet you that'd be good.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if I've ever had homemade. Just out of the box.
Mm-hmm. And the others wasn't ground as fine as the ones you buy.
Oh.
But they were good.
Yeah. Huh. Now, what about the man who
warming his feet?
Warming his feet in the cold.
In a creek down there, big old creek, Rocky Creek, and he's sitting out there on a rock with his feet down in that creek.
How cold was it out?
Oh, it's the coldest blue. I don't know how cold it was, but listen, my mother says it's going to snow. I could tell, And so he was sitting there on that rock. I said, what in the world are you doing? Had his socks off and them feet in that water. He said, I'm warming my feet. I said, my goodness, I didn't believe it. And he told me when he went to the mill, he says, you stick your feet in cold water like that, you can stay at the mill all day long. We'll have to go to the house and warm them.
Huh.
And so I went to get another fella. The other fella was working for some other people and stayed with them at that time, and just saw some wood.
Mm-hmm.
And he says, Carroll, says, don't you go around that mountain the way you come, because there's holes in the old bridges that they had to cross there, and he said, you fall through there and you break a leg. He had a saw, I had a saw wood, and I went down there, and I talked a little longer than I aimed to, and it got dark around that mountain. You know, it was a mountain road, you know, and it wasn't a public road. It was for a sawmill, you know, had built roads.
Yeah, yeah.
And so I said, let's wade the river up there. What they call them fords then, you remember that?
Yeah, I remember that.
They forded the river.
Mm-hmm.
And so it wasn't about that deep, but after you got towards the bank, it got about that deep. And I thought my legs were cut off, and it felt as like I didn't have no legs down below.
While you were walking in the river?
Yeah, and a little bit while I got out.
I can imagine.
And so I put my shoes on. I had to walk, I guess, about as far from here to some of those stations over there, you know, maybe a mile or something like that. My feet got warm as they could be.
Did they?
They sure did. And I put my socks on with wet feet, you know. I didn't have nothing dry with. And they were warm.
Wow.
And that convinced me that he was warming his feet.
Wow, I don't know if I'd have enough courage to try that.
But I was forced to.
Yeah.
Because it was getting dark, and I'd have to walk to twice as far if I'd went around the road.
Now, how old were you when you met your wife? Or did you know her from school, or?
No, I knew her when we went to church, and I went to church some back then, and I'd see her, but I didn't.
How did you gradually get to meet her?
Well,
or get to date her? Or whatever?
I told you that time, her first cousin wanted me to go home with him for dinner on Sunday after Sunday school, after church. And so this girl went home with Nellie, my wife, and he was going to see her.
Oh.
And I didn't know that. I didn't know where he was going. And so Nellie jumped in the car with her, me and her cousins and her. And so it started then.
Now, how long did you go together before you got married?
We went together about a year and 7 months, something like that. Year and 7 months, I think.
How old were you when you married?
23.
How old was she?
She was 20.
Oh, okay. And you were married 65
years and 1 month, exactly.
1 month. That is amazing. If you could tell people, what would be the secret?
Well, the secret would be give and take. Give and take, and forget what you got mad about or something. Now, we had ups and downs, but both of us would forget them in 30 or 40 minutes.
And then go on and...
Yeah.
And you worked in furniture.
Yeah.
Did you make all your own furniture? I mean, I know you made these wood
pieces. Things on the slide. You wasn't supposed to, but
they did.
I slipped pieces around and made small things just to check out, you know.
Yeah.
I didn't make no large thing. That's the biggest thing I ever made.
The bookcase?
Yeah.
I know it. That's beautiful. We'll have to get a picture of that too. Now you remember? What about that toy? You remember that toy?
Yeah, I thought about that, but I can't find that spool. There's one here somewhere. The boy turned that on lay for me. It's a little one.
But so you took a spool when you were younger, and then you
put a rubber in it like that, and fix it so it wouldn't turn. Put some tacks in it, and put a stick on there, and that thing would crawl. And back then you could take the inner tubes. The inner tubes had more rubber in them then, and a whole lot of this is synthetic.
Synthetic? Yeah.
Synthetic. And it would give a whole lot, and you could wind that thing up. It'd crawl. I bet it'd crawl across.
Really?
There.
Like a regular top, like thing, spinning.
Yeah.
Now, did you ever have slingshots or anything like that?
I never could shoot one of them things. They're no good.
What kind of other things did you?
Oh, I had a laser air rifle one time.
Oh, you did?
I sold seeds. You know, I forgot the company now. My mother bought half of them.
That's funny.
And so we'd gather, she would buy some stuff that we didn't plant much, just help me out.
Yeah. So she'd give you seeds? Would you? She'd give you the seeds, or would you?
No, I'd have to order the seeds.
You'd order them for it.
Yeah, they'd send you a box of seeds. This company would, and you had a choice to get a West Clock watch. I think that's the name of them, West Clock, and there's air rifle, or they'd give you so much money.
Oh, okay. If you order the seeds.
You had three choices. So I took the laser rifle one time.
Oh, that's pretty neat.
And I shot some birds, blackbirds, and I didn't hit them. And I remember coming in and it broke my heart.
Oh.
I killed a robin.
Oh, bless your heart.
Killed a robin, and I hated that so bad.
I know. I
miss shooting those blackbirds.
and missed.
And missed. They got by, and the
poor robin got hit.
Got killed.
Well. Did you start getting to be a better shot after the robin, or just not shoot anything at all?
Well, yeah, I kept on shooting. I'd finally kill one once in a while, blackbird.
Did you?
That's not a good shot. I have a lazy eye here, and that's my right eye, and I'm right-handed, and I shoot right.
Oh, yeah.
And I finally had to change over left-handed.
Oh, really? So you could see?
Yeah.
Huh.
I put in for retirement, and they took me in.
Well, and then once you retired, what did you do?
Well, I worked in the garden. I made a garden. I gardened all the time anyway.
Yeah.
And I just spent a lot of time in the garden and spent more time on the place here. I got 6 acres here.
Oh, you do have 6 acres here? Okay.
And I had some cattle. Pigs.
So you were busy even after you...
Oh, yeah. But I couldn't use my hands like...
You wanted to, yeah. Now, if for your grandchildren and your great-grandchildren, what would you want them to know about life? And what kind of person would you want them to be?
Well, I'd want them to be good, upright, and respect others, and do well themselves, and
be honest.
Most of all, go to church and live a clean life.
Which one was it you went to Germany or Denmark with?
With that one over there, grandson.
Okay.
And that's his dad there with the bouquet on.
Okay, yes.
And he was sick. He passed away when he was, I think, about 57. He had cancer of the colon, and he was in heavy equipment in Vietnam, rooting up that
Agent Orange. Now your other son lives
Asheville.
in Asheville.
And my daughter lives in Asheville. All boys but one. I had one sister.
Really?
She was a pet.
I can imagine.
Yeah, she was a pet.
Wow. Was she the oldest, or?
Yeah, she was third, I think.
The third?
First. From first to third.
Now, what was everybody's name? Who?
All the boys' names.
All the boys' names.
Well, the oldest was Ralph Hill.
Ralph
Hill Winkler. And the other one was Horace Young Winkler.
Horace Young Winkler.
And Bessie Bell Winkler was the girl.
Oh, Bessie Bell Winkler.
And the next one was Howard. Howard, and he was born, I think he lived a couple of days.
Oh my goodness.
And the next one was Frank Eugene.
Frank Eugene.
And the next one was John Russell.
John Russell.
And I was next.
And you were next.
Mine was Carroll Triplet Winkler.
Carroll Triplet?
Triplet was my grandmother's maiden name, Triplet.
Oh.
And the younger brother was Virgil Guy Winkler.
Virgil Guy Winkler. Now, are you the only one still living? Are you the only one still living?
In fact. And my older brother, that's my oldest brother, my mother's holding there.
Oh, okay, I see, in the pictures.
Got button shoes.
Isn't that something? That's quite a change from today's shoes. That's quite a change from today's shoes.
Oh, sure, button shoes. I remember they had a thing like that to run in the button.
To button them?
It reminded me of the paint can, you get when you open. It's similar to that, only it's a little more crooked.
I remember.
Do you ever
Believe it or not, I've never used one, but I remember I've seen them. It was probably, you didn't have electric, or you didn't have any electricity.
Oh, no electricity, no radio, no television, just nothing.
Yep. So what did you do for fun?
Oh, we played my mother, she would take a knitted sock and make us boys a ball, We played ball.
Oh.
Throw them over the house and catch them. And different thing, hide and go seek. They call it hide and go seek too.
Okay.
And stuff like that.
Now, did you all have to go, where was your school? Were you homeschooled or?
Yeah, well, I went to the North School, where the First Baptist Church is now, was my first grade school.
Oh.
It was high school and down to the first grade.
Did you walk to school?
Yeah, well, I lived, see, we lived in the North.
Oh, you lived in Lenore, okay.
And we lived on Maple Street, close to, you know where Broadway Street is?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Well, it's a street above Broadway.
Okay, now.
And I walked from there to the school.
Now, your mom and dad, what were their names?
Well, my mother was named Clara Ann Holder Winkler.
Okay.
And my dad was named George Wellington Winkler.
George Wellington Winkler.
Wellington is a German name. He was named after my great-great-grandpa, Mo.
Oh my gosh.
Wellington. That was her maiden name. And in the Winkler retreat, it's unknown who my father was. I mean,
great-grandfather?
Yeah.
Was he from Germany?
Yeah. And they came over here, 3 brothers came over here in 17 and 32.
Oh my gosh.
Mm-hmm. And
now would that be like your great?
I reckon great.
Great. Yeah.
3 greats, I guess.
Yeah.
Maybe 4.
Yeah.
And
when you were younger, were your grandparents in Lenore too?
Well, now they lived on the Yadkin River.
Okay.
And they'd moved back and forth. They moved, I think, some of them moved twice, you know, in a lifetime from the river down here to Lenore and moved back.
Okay.
And my dad, he bought a little farm during the Depression, and all the factories, well, there wasn't about 2 or 3 factories in the north at that time. And they didn't have no business, you know. And he moved, bought this little farm. He had 2 houses and lots, besides the one we lived in. And he traded them in on a Fraser farm. The Fraser farm, you heard of that down the Yadkin River?
Yes, yeah.
He traded them houses for some
the farm?
Farm, yeah.
Really?
And I think he borrowed a little bit of money out of the building. Me and Ellie, we stayed with my parents for 2 or 3 months. And then I moved to town and rented upstairs in a little place. And collected some hand-me-downs, and we went to housekeeping.
Alrighty.
Hand-me-downs.
Yeah.
An oil stove, you know, that some of them had bought a better stove, you know.
Yeah. Now, where did you work at that point?
Where did I work? Well, I worked in a furniture factory, and I first went to work at what's called a Jennings Furniture Company.
Jennings?
Jennings
Uh-huh.
in Illinois. Then I worked at Kenton Coffees, which is gone now, both of them. And then I wound up and retired at Lenore Chair #1.
Oh, okay.
And I worked at the highbrow, between then I worked at the highbrow checkup.
So you've done furniture your whole life.
Yeah.
Did your wife work in the beginning?
Big way.
Did your wife work?
She worked a little bit at knit sew in here. Knit sew, sewing
okay,
place.
yeah.
That's all she worked, and she did odd jobs sewing for people, and
Well, she probably had her hands full too with the kids.
Oh yeah, she didn't make much of sewing, you know.
Mm-hmm.
She's good-hearted. She didn't want to overcharge, you know.
Oh.
She'd fix potatoes one way and the next way, and potatoes were a new thing every time.
Really?
She'd fry them sometimes, and boil them sometimes, and bake them sometimes, and I think it's what's called shoestring potatoes or something.
Oh,
like
yeah,
that.
yeah.
Yeah, she fixed them and quarter them.
So she was good with potatoes.
Oh, yeah, she could. And they'd be different, you know, a different color and all that,
Yeah.
you know. It tastes better. And she could make those little fried apple pies.
Oh, yeah.
So good. And stuff like that. Make cakes. And I tell people that what little I was, she helped make it. A whole lot of people ask me about what was the outstanding thing that happened during my lifetime. I told them a man on the moon. Man on the moon. And different things like that. And
what, if there was one thing that you could do over again, what would that be?
Well, I've tried to do a little better. I've tried to add a little better, you know.
If, would you travel more?
Well, I did the most of my traveling after my wife passed away.
Oh, okay.
But she would not fly.
She wouldn't.
And so I went to Denmark twice, and Kansas. I flew from Kansas City back home. She wouldn't fly.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, it's 6 hours difference in time. And let me tell you what it is.
What?
They said, now you go to bed and rest up tomorrow, and we'll go take you somewhere. We'll do our routine things, you know. And so I woke up. I thought it was morning, and I took a shower, and I noticed they had potatoes and stuff like that for supper. And I thought it was breakfast. I said, where you going?
And it was nighttime.
Yeah, nighttime. Yeah. I got turned around.
Well, that would be easy enough to do.
Oh, yeah, 6 hours difference.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, how long have you lived right here in this home?
This house since 55. Well, we moved over here in 56.
Mm-hmm.
I started, I was a year of building this house.
Oh, did you build it?
A whole lot, and then I worked, paid as I went.
Went,
you know.
oh, okay.
And I hired a whole lot.
How
and,
expensive was it back then?
Back then, well, I got by for about $8,000.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
And that was expensive back then, though? Or was that a...
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And I put it under the roof and everything. And then I borrowed some money to finish it up. I was real long.
Well, it's a beautiful home.
Mm-hmm. And
Did you have, was there a lot of neighbors around you then?
baby,
Was there a lot of neighbors?
no,
when you moved?
but this house wasn't here, and nothing down there. And when I first, now listen, I've been living in this place here for 64 years.
Wow.
Well, I lived in a little house similar to that one right over there.
Oh, okay, yes. Mm-hmm.
Little they call them bungalows.
Bungalows, yeah.
And it the family got too big for it and everything, and termites was in the house and everything.
Oh.
And so I started going over here.
And so you finally got this built and everyone moved in here.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that had to be a nice occasion.
Yeah, but my wife never said she wasn't happy thrilled with us moving over in this house as she was moving over there. See, we thought we was rich when we bought that little bungalow in this land. She thought that was the first,
That was your first home.
We got me and Bill on this together.
Now, what year did you buy the little bungalow, the first home, did you and Nellie?
1941.
Were any of the kids born then?
Yeah, 2 girls.
The 2 girls were born?
Mm-hmm. They were just little toddlers.
Oh, I can imagine.
And we moved. Back then, I had to move my truck, and sawmill, They says I can't move no time on Saturday. They did work on Saturday.
Oh, they did the work on Saturday.
And so we took him up, and after we moved, it come a knee-deep snow.
Oh.
We wouldn't have got moved. What we was holding back for was we had 2 hogs to be butchered,
Mm-hmm.
and we wanted to butcher them before we moved.
Oh, okay. So you got...
And that's how we moved on Christmas Eve.
You moved on Christmas Eve?
Yes.
Into here?
Yeah, no.
Oh, in the first house?
First house.
Oh, and then it snowed.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It must have been pretty. Did it snow a lot back then?
Yeah, we had, you know, the weather's changed a whole lot, you know.
Has
We
it?
used to have 5 or 6 weeks snows every winter.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. Now we're lucky to have 2 or 3.
I know it. I know.
I was getting ready to dance through the atomic bomb over in Hiroshima, Nagasaki, whatever.
You're getting ready to go?
And Germany was almost gone. You know, they knew they couldn't stand much more.
Yeah.
And you know, all over 30 didn't have to report to Fort Bragg that much.
Oh, okay.
That saved
So that saved your hide because you were over 30.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
You know, had 2 children.
And a wife. So, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and that was a blessing in disguise, you know, because at that age and having your family all together, who knows what could have happened, you know.
That's right.
So, but I heard the other day you're a baseball fan.
Oh, yeah. I used to play Appalachian baseball.
Did you? What's your favorite position, batter or?
Well, I used to play anywhere they'd put me, but most of the time it was third base.
Was it? Who's your favorite team?
Well, I tell you, I had a brother that was older than I and one younger, and they each won pull for the Yankees, and I had to pull for somebody else to keep an argument going,
Yes.
you know, and everything. And so I would pull for Connie Mack when he was old Connie Mack, you know, you've heard of him. In basketball, I didn't get into that till the kids got to playing, and I was grown and married then.
Before you got in.
And me and my wife would have to take those girls to games, you know.
Yeah. And then you had to know something about something.
Yeah, I learned a little.
What was your favorite thing to do?
Well, I'll tell you this, and so you can laugh. Cap after baseball, well, you know, when I'm a big, I didn't run, all we had old sacks or something, you know, laying around, stuck up in the ground with a peg or something. And I had one pretty good, and I was trying to get a triple out of it, and I got lost around second base and couldn't find it. And so one of those big cow chips was about that big. The sun had baked it over top, you know, like, and I slid into that. From up to my cap.
Oh my gosh.
I got home, my mother said, "What in the world have you been into?" I've had some fun in my life.
That's a lot of good memories, isn't it?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
What are some other stories? Can you think of other funny stories?
Not right
Can you
now.
tell us about that killing that
Well,
rooster?
you know, we'd saw a broom hung off us boys wood and put 2 feathers in like that, you know, and put a spike in here and file it sharp and throw it like a dart.
Yeah, and that was how you made your own toy. You had to make your own stuff to play with.
Oh yeah, and so we had an old rooster. We lived in the north then, and everybody then had a few chickens, and a lot of people had cows.
Oh.
At that time in Lenore.
In Lenore, huh?
Yeah. And so we'd go in a lot. My mother said, "Don't you boys go down." And that old rooster would bristle up, you know, and he'd fly up and try to spur you.
Oh.
And so she got afraid that we was going to get an eye put out or something.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And I didn't intend to kill the rooster, but I didn't care. And I threw that dart. He got to bristling up like that, and I threw that dart like that, and it went in one eye and out the other.
Oh my gosh.
And so my mother felt sorry for me, and there's a man up there dealt in poultry and things like that, you know, eggs and all that.
Uh-huh.
It's what's called Mac Johnson's stable. You've heard of it?
I've heard of that, yes. Yeah, Buck Johnson's stable.
He'd buy chickens, turkey, geese, every kind of fowl there was.
Oh.
And so my mother gave me some money to go up there and get a barred rock rooster.
Oh.
And so she told me to tell him to tie his legs, so she thought, you know, like that. So I carried it to some rooster, you know, jump away and it'd be hard to catch. And so Tom Seahorn, it was Ted Seahorn's daddy.
Oh, okay, okay.
And so he tied his legs for him, put him in under my arm. I was about somewhere along about 12, maybe 13.
Wow.
And
how far did you have to walk?
Oh, just maybe far from here towards the highway.
Oh, okay. So you got him home all right?
Oh, yeah. And so I took the rooster home, and we had rooster for supper, and mother didn't tell my dad.
So you didn't get in trouble.
No.
Well, that's a good thing.
But she was just afraid he was going to jump on the bus and maybe put an eye out or something.
Oh, sure, sure. So what was it, you know, what was it like back then? Was it happier for you, or?
Oh, well, we didn't have very much, but we accepted it and didn't worry about happiness.
Yeah, it's like maybe you were poor, but you didn't know you were poor.
That's right, that's right. My dad, he always emphasized us boys be truthful and honest and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I tried to do a little of that.
Mm-hmm. To your children, to pass it on.
And, yeah.
What quality did you admire most in your dad and mom? Was it like their honesty?
Yeah, honesty, and they were willing to do for us, do without things, themselves.
To do for you, to do for the kids, yeah. Yeah. Well, I imagine you probably did that for your children as well.
Oh, sure.
Now, if you think of each one of your children, what quality sticks out? Like,
Marlene.
Marlene, okay.
She was different from the rest.
Mm-hmm.
She was, I don't know, she couldn't stand for somebody to be mad at her and her mad at somebody.
Oh,
she was,
real tender-hearted, like?
Yeah, and she had a way about her. If you wanted us parents to do something for her or something, or quit doing what we was doing and everything, that she had a way about getting it done and without fussing and fighting and going on.
Just doing it.
Just to persuade.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
So she was
begging you. And during World War I, II, I smoked a little bit, and she begged me to quit and quit, and so I didn't pay much attention to it. So one day it took a hold of me, and I quit.
Good for you. Well, that is wonderful. So she persuaded you to quit.
Oh yeah, she did, but not this little one, Gail.
Gail.
She'll speak harsh. She wants something done if you don't do it.
She'll
You
just
know what I mean?
tell you like it is.
Yeah, tell you like it is. Yeah, Marlene would.
How about the boys? What quality do you see in each one of them, or did you see in each one?
Well, yeah, they're different, but not as much as the girls. The boys, well, I took them to ball games, and they appreciated that, and they tell me to this day that they really appreciate it. They played Little League, you know.
Oh, yeah.
And, me and Nellie would take them to the park.
What do you think has been your best accomplishment?
I wouldn't have much idea.
I think living till 94 years old. Living to be 94 years old.
Was that a accomplishment?
I think so.
Oh, yeah.
And, you know.
It so happened I did.
And
I don't know why.
well, you still have and you have a lot of integrity.
And
You do. Who was the person? What person made you laugh the most through your life? Do you think?
now that's a long question. I don't know. Well, I had some uncles that was kind of like comedians. You know? And they'd tell old-timey tales and make us boys laugh when they get together.
Do you remember any of them?
No, I don't remember.
I know, it's hard to remember.
Yeah, one of them, they never seen a bicycle before, the older ones, you know.
Really?
I've never seen nobody. And some of my aunts or somebody said that's a forerunner of Christ coming.
That's funny.
I remember that tells tales.
Well, that was
on themselves and on other people, their sisters and brothers and all that.
Did you have a lot of family get-togethers, or was it hard because everybody was all over the place?
Yeah, well, everybody didn't get together at one time. Maybe later on had reunions, you know, and you couldn't do that gossiping much at the reunion.
Yeah.
But they'd come to the house and set up till midnight or after midnight telling them tales.
Oh, did they? That had to be fun.
Oh, yeah. Doran, he's sort of funny when you get acquainted with him.
He seems like he has a real good sense of humor.
He was principal at school, you know.
Oh, was he?
Yeah. And he wound up in the main office in Nashville.
Oh, okay. And
47 years.
wow.
He had enough overtime build up. He retired at 38 years.
Oh my gosh.
And he had enough to run him about 41 or 2 years.
Wow. Well, you must be very proud of him.
Oh yeah. He was different from the other boy. He used to get the soccer pitchers down, catch worms, bugs, and things with his little bitty thing.
Did he?
And look up and see what they were, what their name.
Really?
Yeah, his little bitty thing.
Huh.
And his uncle, Nella's sister, my sister lived out here. He worked at Greer Drug, you know.
Yeah.
And them boys would catch butterflies and crickets and grasshoppers and all that, and they'd buy them.
Really?
To, you know, to experiment with, you know, to research.
Mm. Now, what did Gail like to do when she was little?
Well, when she was a little bit thing, I guess she could walk and play around the floor and everything. Nellie had some embroidery hooks right that big. And is that what you call embroidery?
Yeah.
And she would try to embroider stuff, you know, like that, and do pretty good. And Marlene and so Nellie bought, they're both small ones, you know.
Yeah.
Marlene was didn't agree with her. She didn't want to do that kind of work. But Gail stuck with it, and she's a real good seamster.
Is she?
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, she do things like that over there on the wall.
Oh, yeah, that's beautiful.
And in the hall there, she put her 50th anniversary.
Oh, did she do that?
Yeah.
Wow.
And she made the Lord's Supper in a big old picture
frame,
like that. And these people, they started off in the church, and they'd take it to some other place to show what she'd done. And they took out insurance on it.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, she's got it now up there. That's beautiful.
She's very talented, it sounds like.
And a cat. My son had a cat. It was, I don't know, 19 years old.
Oh my gosh.
And after she had his picture, you know, and after it died, she embroidered.
Wow. Now that's a lot of talent. That's very talented to be able to do that.
And now that my wife was talented on crocheting.
Crocheting.
And she got a tablecloth here. She crocheted in her bedspread.
Wow. Well, so Gail got it from Nellie, it sounds like.
A whole lot of it,
yeah. Well, tell us what you need. You need to make this toy so they will know when they watch this that you can tell them about.
Well, I made my great-grandson, that little boy over there. When he played with it, yeah. Of course, it was a small spool. It wasn't big like we used to have. And put paraffin in it and put a notch in the paraffin and put a rubber in there.
In the spool.
And put some things on here so it wouldn't turn and wind it up.
And let it go, and it was like a little, like a top.
Yeah.
Sort of like.
Yeah, he would crawl like a caterpillar or something.
Oh.
He'd crawl. Yeah, and what you call bad when I was growing up, we played Peggy.
Peggy?
Peggy, you ever heard of it?
No, what was that?
Well, it was broom handlers. They'd drive a stop in the ground like that and put that little short broom handle on there.
A little broom handle.
And take another broom handle or a big stick and flip it up like that.
And what would it do? Just kind of like fly up?
Oh, it'd go like a baseball, you know.
Really? Huh? And it was called Peggy?
Peggy, yeah.
Huh. What else did you do?
Marbles we used to.
Marbles? I remember marbles. What else did you do? Hide and seek?
Well, not much. Just wasn't able to play much. We did occasionally. Girls and boys together, you know, play that.
Yeah, yeah.
And we could hide and find you could get you a hug.
Oh, that's funny.
Oh, yeah.
Now, well, what grade did you finish school, right?
No, I didn't. I went to the 7th grade.
Oh, I thought you finished school.
No.
Why did you stop at the 7th grade?
Well, I don't really know. I didn't have to. My parents didn't want me to go on, but I just
didn't care for it.
Got tired, and I didn't like a teacher.
Oh. Was it one teacher through every grade?
Yeah.
Okay. Did you go to work after you?
Yeah, I let her.
Or how old were you when you were in 7th grade about?
I went to work when I was, I think, 16.
Wow.
Yeah, you're 16 then, but I think it's 18 now.
Yeah, unless you have your parents' permission or something.
Unless it's...
Did a lot of people, a lot of people back then, they didn't finish school, I think, it just wasn't.
No, but wasn't very few that was able to even go to high school. My oldest brother, he finished school, but he had to go. My parents lived down the river then, and he had to go to the door, where Prospect Street is.
Yeah, yeah.
On top of a hill, there's school there, high school there.
Oh, yes, I know where it is.
And Rents Bush owned the property.
Oh.
I mean, he's the last that owned it. I don't know who owns it.
Did you celebrate Christmases a
Oh,
lot?
yeah. We couldn't wait till Christmas come and didn't get nothing, hardly, toys. Then it come from a dime store, People just, didn't hardly have enough money to
do a lot.
With.
But there was probably a lot of love and just the idea of the holiday.
And we always got oranges tangerines. You didn't get those. You know, like tomatoes, unless there was canned tomatoes, we didn't get it. Back then, you know, they wasn't shipped in here from other countries like they do now.
Oh, that's right. So that was kind of a...
Oh, yeah. You eat what the season brought you.
That makes... You know, I didn't think about that, but that's right. Back then, nothing was shipped in, really. Huh.
And tangerines, they have so many tangerines in Florida and everything. Why, they'd load the boxcar up and they shovel them up for you. They park down to, you know, where the steel mill is, you know, where Boss Lumber Company is.
Yes, yes.
That used to be a cotton mill, steel mill.
Oh.
And they parked there, you know, with the boxcars.
And so that's where you'd go and get everything?
And they'd load, people would load it up and haul it to different places.
Well, that is really interesting to know that. So, now if, what was your favorite holiday? Did you and Nellie both enjoy Christmas, or what was?
Christmas, I imagine, and we look forward to Easter.
To Easter,
And girls would get a new bonnet and a new dress.
Well, it sounds like you were just a wonderful dad. Both you and Nellie were good mom and dad.
I give her the credit for all that stuff.
Well, she'd probably give you the credit, I think, if she was here.
Yeah.
Now, what'd you think about when you first became a grandparent, with your first grandchild? How old were you?
I don't remember how old I was. He was the first grandson, and listen, I had a granddaughter visit me Monday.
Oh, you
and
did?
She was, that's Marlene's girl.
Oh.
They lived in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania.
Wow.
They had a son in Moncrief up there. And they come down to see about him, and he would come with a bus tour, you know.
How nice.
And how old was he?
Yeah.
I guess he's 12, 13.
Wow.
And they were headed on up to Lynchburg to her dad's.
Oh.
Lynchburg, Virginia.
Well, that must have been a nice visit. Were you glad to see her?
Yeah. And she's got 2 daughters, but they wasn't with her. 2 daughters and a son.
So that would be a great grand.
Yeah.
Great grand, yeah.
Yeah. And my grandson that over there in that father picture. He would just stay with me and Nellie and Palliative.
Oh.
So he lived in Greensboro, and he couldn't get out. And when he come up here, he could run around.
Up there, so.
In the woods and everywhere else. And he stayed here. He wants to ride. He said he was going to write a diary of his grandfather.
I think that'd be wonderful. Well, I know you're real proud of him, and you.
Oh yeah, and he's one, you know, he travels by plane a lot, you know, and he builds up free tickets, you know. They're really not free. It costs you about $100.
Oh, yeah.
And he built them up. That's how come me to go to Denmark and Berlin.
Well, I know you really think a lot of him, and he sounds like he really thinks a lot of you too. You're close with all your family.
Yeah.
Well, are there any secrets to life that you know of or want to share with anybody? Or
Oh, yeah. Wouldn't do to tell all that stuff.
That's right. That's right.
Good and bad.
That's right.
Rock of Ages, cleft for me. Let me hide myself in thee. Let the water and the blood from thy wounded side which flow be all the same, the double cure, save from wrath and make me pure, while I draw this fleeting breath, when mine eyes are closed in death, when I rise to worlds unknown and behold God on his throne, Rock of Ages, cleft for me. Let me hide myself in Rock of Ages, cleft for me. Let me hide myself in thee. Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. I once was lost, but now I'm found, was blind, but now I see. Through many dangers, toils, and snares, I have already come. 'Twas grace hath brought me safe thus far, and grace will lead me home. 'Twas grace that taught my heart to fear, and grace my fear tears relieved. How precious did that grace appear